Hello, hello, hello. We are back this week. Another House of the Dragon reaction review. I just finished the episode, and so it was spicy. There's a thing in like anything Game of Thrones related where dinners are very telling, and dinners are always drama filled. In Game of Thrones, so a lot of things happen during dinner scenes. And this was no exception um, at all. It was no exception. First of all, there was some memes going around about how Viserys was going to look, and damn if most of them weren't true. When he took that mask off and you saw the side of his face and the skin missing, you could see through and all damn near see through and the eye going and all that shit. I mean, yeah, he looked freaking horrible. Um, wow, just really really damn bad. And one of my predictions came true. And what was that? I was saying, that Viserys wasn't going to make it to the end of the season, that he was going to die probably in this episode, and that's what happened at the very end. He finally passes away. Poor guy. He kind of got there was a little bit of a nostalgia scene where all Viserys wanted was that all his family together and freaking getting along, and he got a glimpse of that during this dinner towards the end of the episode. And then I was like, once he had that, I was like, yeah, this dude about to die, because that's all he kind of wanted to see. But it was crazy. Now this episode takes place a few years later after the previous incident, so most of the boys are grown, with the exception of what's his name, Joffrey, and Joffrey, who was the youngest, but the other two boys are grown. Viserys' children are grown up. They're Most of them are older, with the exception, I think, of one. Who I think Helena was a little younger, but you know, and we see what happened to the boys. We see that the eldest is a drunk and a rapist because he did rape that girl, and you see how that's handled. Honestly, I thought homegirl was going to get killed because that would have been a very Cersei thing to do, like kill him. She didn't. She forced the girl to drink the moon tea to make sure that she didn't have an illegitimate child, and gave her some money. So basically, treated her like a whore. Here you go, like but so that's very clear in the episode. There's no hiding that. That was in your face. I'm glad this time around they didn't show that scene in terms of the actual act happening, because Game of Thrones was very good at showing those things. Um, and HBO in general, policy about showing those things. They've gotten better about, hey, we don't need to see it happen. In this case, so that was nice that we didn't have to see that. We've seen a lot of traumatic stuff in this show, whatsoever, from someone's C-section to all kinds of stuff. So we didn't necessarily need to. We really didn't need to see at that. Um, but whew, it was a lot going on in this episode. Um, some really good moments. And we see that Damien has had a baby with his niece. He had a baby who is the youngest child. Who, guess what the child looks like? The child looks like it is Valyrian, or it looks like a Targaryen. And it looked like she potentially was pregnant again, or maybe that was just the way she was holding herself in the episode. But it kind of looked that I don't know if they were just trying to show her that she's kind of, a woman who's had a bunch of kids, or that she was potentially maybe pregnant again. I don't know what that was about. That it kind of looks like, is she pregnant again? That was my mind going. So I don't know if that was just me, trying to, looking more into what was actually there or not. Um, yeah. We'll see. What did we get to? We got Sir Otto, who is running the bank, or attempting on running the bank with his daughter, aka ruling the kingdom, and all kinds of stuff is happening. The stepstones is still a problem. For those who don't remember that, the stepstones are a big problem. Actually, Corlys got hurt and is in like critical condition, and so they are. He isn't dead. Let's get that. Corlys hasn't died yet. It's if Corlys dies, Hold on, I don't think he died. Did I mistake that? Because I did step away from it and I didn't rewind because I wanted to make sure that this was but Corliss did not uh has not quite yet passed on. Um so yeah, so Corliss actually he did okay, I'm right. I know he did not die yet. He's kind of in critical condition. So who is going to be in charge of the Stepstones now while he's incapacitated, and if he dies? It comes into question by his brother, because I mean, ain't no secret. Everybody know that Jace and the other one, that the first three kids she had is not of Valerian blood, is not like everybody knows. That's not really a secret. But you know what's funny about the shit? This is what's funny. Even though everybody knows, she is steady defending it. Like she's the innocent one. And this is Rhaenyra, and everybody's like, baby, we already know that these ain't so and so's kids. Like this is not a secret, sweetheart. This is not a fucking surprise. Like everybody knows, and she's acting like every time they play her scene with this thing. It to me it is freaking hilarious because she knows it's untrue, and everybody else in the room knows it's untrue too. Um, she's trying to play a position, and they have a talk with her, and they have a talk between her and Rhaenys, the queen who never was, who is Corliss's wife, and she's trying to have this talk with her, and this chick is like, I don't even really want to talk to your ass because I know you had something to do with my son's death, and it's already I know these kids ain't his, and like I'm kind of like through with you, in a lot of respects, right? And she's trying to beg her, and it's an interesting scene because this chick ain't stupid. She was trying what okay, so in the previous episode, since you should have watched it by now, Rhaenys, Corliss's wife, is trying to get him to name Baela, their other granddaughter, heir to the Driftmark throne, because at least they know that that is of their blood. And she's like, listen, you know what it is. Let's just do that and not have to worry about this crap, right? Make up an excuse that hey, these two are princes and they should just be princes, and and let's do that. That was her reasoning, and she was right. But Corlys is, he's too prideful. He's too prideful, and he's more worried about being named in the history books and being famous and stuff like that. And he's way too prideful to really hear her out. Now, because had he heard her out years later, when would not have been a situation at all. Because his brother winds up going to petition that he should be in charge of Driftwood. It should pass to him because those kids, Rhaenyra's kids, are bastards, and the other one who would have been the Lord of Driftmark should not be the Lord of anything on Driftmark, which technically wise, kind of yeah, correct. But even with that, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, even if maybe it's me, and it's kind of like it has to pass to the male line sort of thing, even with the Driftmark thing. Because here's the thing: even if he petitioning to the king and petitioning and stuff about the situation, it's like this. Sure, let's say they agree Jace or whatever which one his name is should not be Lord of Driftmark. Okay, but Sir Corliss's daughter has two children who are adults, and therefore it would pass to them, but it can't pass to them because they're women. So that's why he, as uncle, was petitioning for him to have it. But by all, and that's that thing about, a woman can't be in charge of this unless all the males are dead, kind of thing. That's where that's coming from. And even then, he was passing over his two nieces, who we all know that's, what's the name's kids. So that still plays into a lot of it, right? And that's why, Holt Rainey's was like, yo, just name your granddaughter fucking the heir, and let, like, because if we already know what it is, it's going to cause contention. and she was right. You know, no one's listening to the women they should be listening to in this, or the men they should be listening to in this whole story. That's the thing about this whole Dance with Dragons. There's so much danger in warning and people just ignoring the warnings because of pride or doing whatever they want to do. Like Rhaenyra just wants to do whatever the fuck she wants to do, and that's part of the issue. She just want to do whatever she want to do, and she does, and it causes all these problems. And now, don't get me wrong, Alicent is the same, is the way in the opposite end. You know, unfortunately, and a lot and that has a lot of influence from her dad as well. And the lesson, without giving away the complete end of how this story wraps up, you know, in the end, Alicent is very regretful, and you will see that as this whole story carries on, what the world happens with it. Now, I thought this was the last episode, but apparently, next week is the episode House of the Dragon. You know, I thought this week was the okay. So they said that 10 episodes. Okay, so we got two more left. I thought this was the last episode. I was like, this is kind of weird. We have a preview for the next episode. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I just want to type that in to make sure I got my facts right. Okay, so yeah, a lot of spice going on. So, just to get the craziness of, what's going on here. Um, it's just crazy. There's things I want to say, but I also want to give people a chance to freaking see it too. But the dinner scene, oh my god, the dinner scene. And then I'll tell you what happens in the last of the episode. So homeboy, since he's back in town for like since years, um, and this is Damon. Damon goes to see, sneaks out after all the drama, uh, to go see his remember the lady he was with, the whore he was with. He goes to see her, so I'm guessing they about to that. And there's something that happens in the preview next episode, in which there was a kid who has very Targaryen features, who was a little boy, and I'm like, is that Damon's kid? Because if it's not Damon's kid, I can also see it being one of the prince's kids, because well, at least one of the princes, one of them likes to get drunk and screw. So I don't know whose kid that is. I'm leaning that it might have been Damon's uh Horse kid, but why would she have the baby? I don't know. They just have a kid that has Valerian, has very Targaryen Valerian features. So it's somebody's baby. I guess we'll find out more about that too in the next episode next week. But it's been a crazy like old man Viserys dies, and thank goodness he dies, because Lord, he looked terrible. He was suffering. He was in consistent pain. He was really suffering. He looked horrible. I don't know what the hell he had, but he looked terrible. So he's gone. So now the real BS is going to start. Okay, you're going to see the real BS start in this situation, as we escalate uh, on this. Right. So we're going to see it. It's going to be tremendous to see. As we go to the next one, there's some key things. You see the sons. You see Aegon and such, and wow, I go give it to Helena. Helena's weird, right? But she reminds me of what's the name, Lovegood from Harry Potter. That kind of she reminds me of that. But she had a couple of quips in this episode. Okay, she had a couple of things to say in this episode. I believe she is technically, supposedly, still engaged to one of Rhaenyra's sons, right? I think because here's the thing, they did a lot of extra rearrangements of who's going to marry who, but I believe Helena was supposed to be married. I think Helena is supposed to be married to one of the sons, because they don't switch stuff, so I'm a little confused about that part. One of the damn sons, you gonna have me, because they did a switch, and sometimes I confuse the names of who. Joffrey's the fucking youngest. Helena is promised to who? Who is she promised to? Let's see. The House of the Dragon. Um, yeah, she's promised to one of them. I forget. There was one of them she was promised to supposedly marry, or something like that. But what they're going to do, I know that the what's her face, one of one I think it's Baela Targaryen is supposed to be being married to not Joffrey, Jace, I think. Get a little confused on this because like they both. I'm just saying the name shit just gave me. It's either Jace or the other one, whatever the hell his name is. Like um, one of them is supposed to be about to was promised to hold the peace between the queen and the princess heir, and then in this episode, Ray Rhaenys makes a deal, or Rhaenyra makes a deal with Rhaenys about her daughter being married to one of the uh oh, I think it was supposed to be Jade. No, because she said if she does, she'll be the queen of Westeros. So I think she promised Baela to her. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think she promised Baela to her. I mean Baela to the eldest so that she'd be queen. Yeah, the eldest. Okay, so the oh, okay, I got it now. The eldest is supposed to be getting married to, I believe, Baela. But there's another daughter. That daughter, I believe, now I don't know I don't think she's promised anyone yet, but Helena, I think, is promised to be married to the second eldest, right? The second eldest of Rhaenyra. That's what it is. Okay, yeah. See, this stuff gets confusing. Um, yeah. So that's it. Now, remember in the last episode, Helena's potentially a dreamer, meaning, um, well, that's a whole bunch. I don't know if I want to get into that because that's a whole bunch of non stuff that goes into the actual lore of the Song of Ice and Fire. And I don't want to do that yet, even though there's a lot of things going on. So it's and I know too much about how this actually ends, so I don't want to get in that. But she reminds me so much of what's the name, Lovegood from Harry Potter, just the way she talks and thinks. But she has little quips here and there. So it would be, yeah. So yeah, I think that was the original promise, but I don't want to see. It's about to happen, but I don't want to say exactly what's about to happen. So um, about to happen because there's going to be some switcheroos about some marriage stuff again. So if you're paying attention, you need to score a card for this crap because I know who she technically winds up marrying, and uh, yeah. But anyway, we've talked enough for now. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Watch the dinner scene; it is fabulous, and I overall enjoyed some parts of the episode like that. It's really picking up. Viserys is finally fucking dead. So we really going to see what the hell's about. Oh, R.I.P. to Corliss's brother, whatever the hell his name was. I did not know he was going to have that shit happen to him, but he was warned. Yeah, I mean, damn, 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 damn. Okay, so I'm gonna want y'all to watch that and you'll see what happened. But he has some balls, but it cost him. Anyway, see you guys next time, next week, same channel. Make sure to like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Other things that I talk about on this channel, I talk about business and entrepreneur, how to make money as a freelance writer, copywriter, and all that sort of thing. And I show you the journey of me and some of my businesses that I'm working on. And you see the struggles, the triumphs, and potentially how you could do it too if you like to make some money so that we can do more things like, sit around and talk about Game of Thrones while not dreading our Mondays. So if you like that, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.